Okay guys, so I've got a really cool product for you guys to check out today. This is an evaporative air cooler from the Viver company. I want to give a big shout out and a huge thanks to the good folks at Viver for sending this unit out to me so I can review it and test it for you guys. So what is an evaporative air cooler? It's pretty basic actually. All there is in concept is there is a tank reservoir at the bottom of this unit. I think this one holds about 9 gallons of water. The water gets pumped up when the pump is on to the top of this unit. It's kind of spews out and cascades and waterfalls over 3 sides of cooling pads. And when the fan is running and blowing air out, it sucks air right across those cooling pads and humidifies and cools the air in your room. That's really about it. It's very simple. It's very low cost and efficient and effective. And I've been using evaporative coolers for years, and I love them. It's a great alternative and a really inexpensive and more efficient alternative to running an air conditioner and AC with the energy cost. So far I'm super impressed. I think it's a really nice looking unit. It's very mobile and with 4 rolling casters and locking wheels. So I'm excited about the prospect of what it can do for me out here in my garage, and just excited to get into it. So let's take a closer look. Okay, so basically, after I ordered this unit, this is what showed up at my door. A well-packaged unit with a nice box. I didn't have any damage. I wasn't missing any parts, and everything that was supposed to show up did. Basically, the contents were the unit itself, a remote control, 4 caster wheels, 2 locking, and instruction manual, and 4 ice blocks that you can use to cool the temperature of the water to make it even more efficient and blow even colder air. Okay guys, so let's take a quick look at the features of this unit and kind of show off what it is and what it does. Basically, I've got a nice control panel here that's got 6 buttons on it that you can use. I also have correlating 6 buttons on the included remote control, which seems to work quite well. Basically, running through the buttons, what we've got here is a power button, which just turns on the power to the unit. We've got a speed control button, which goes it cycles through 3 speeds of fan strength, which is great because it blows quite a bit of air, as you'll see. I've got a timer, which I believe it will cycle through from 1 to 12 hours of timing before it shuts off, which is nice because you don't have to babysit it. It's got a cooling button, which basically turns on the pump for the water. So if you run it with the power on, with the cooling off, and don't hit the cooling button, you can just use this as a fan to vacate air out of a room, or just to move air, just like a box fan, which is a great feature. It's got a swing button, which the internal baffles inside swing back and forth nice and slow and give you maybe 200, 250 degrees of cooling. Instead of it just going into one spot, it moves around like an oscillating fan. Really, really nice. And then finally, there is a mystery button, and that's always fun. The mode button, you turn it on and off, and the only thing I can see is that it turns a light on. As far as I can tell out of the instructions, it cycles the air between natural air or natural wind and normal wind. I don't know what that means. I think it's super cool that I have a button that does that, but I couldn't tell you what. I'm not an airflow scientist, so I'm not sure what the difference between natural and normal air is, but pretty cool that I have that option, I guess. All right, so anyway, those are the controls, and that all works out really well. So the louvers in the front, they stay closed for you, so you can keep the dust out of the unit when you're not using it, which I think is a great touch. And then all you got to do is just reach into these little holes and pull the levers open. And you can run the levers all the way up to here so that the air shoots up high, or all the way almost closed, or straight ahead, however you want it. So I think that's a really nice feature. Down below here is the reservoir tank. Now this is their bigger unit, so I think I believe it's a 9-gallon tank. I put 8 gallons of water in here just to test it, and I've got a nice little window here, and you can see, I don't know if you can see on camera when I shake it, the window shows me the water level right here, which is between 1/2 and 3/4. So I put about 8 gallons in, it brought me up to about here. It's evaporated out 1 gallon or 1.5 gallons of water in about 3 hours of use, which seems pretty typical. It's an evaporative air unit, so it brings water over the fins, evaporates it as it comes through, fills the room up with a bit of humidity, drops the temperature of the air, and that's kind of about the rate that you're going to expect to lose as water. So you'll need to either manually refill the unit as it gets low through the top, which is super handy, or you can hook up a garden hose to this really convenient fitting they've put on the back, so that you can just hook up a hose to it and turn it on and leave it and forget it, because there's actually a float control inside of the unit just past this inlet, so that when the unit gets full of water, the float rises up and shuts off the water supply. And as it needs a little more, it just kind of seeps it in. This is kind of how most evaporative coolers work, that hang on the roof or on the outside of a building. They have a water supply, and they just kind of seep in and maintain their own water level all the time. Really convenient, really handy. Or like I did, I just took a 5-gallon bucket, and I just put a couple of buckets of water in. However you want to fill it up is really up to you, which is nice. Also, on top of that, there is a nice little rubber plug right here that is for draining the water out, because every once in a while you're going to want to get the water out, clean out the unit, and put fresh water in, just as kind of maintenance. And it's holding 8 gallons of water, and it's been in here for 3-4 hours, and it hasn't lost a drop. So happy about that. And I think that there's screws on the sides of these panels, so occasionally you're going to want to pop these panels off, take these cooling pads out, and hose them off. Now, if you've used what people normally know as swamp coolers or evaporative coolers, most larger units or building side-mounted units or window units will come with like straw, fiber board, inserts that hold the water. And not only do they kind of smell fishy when you first fire them up, they are disposable. They get used up, and you throw them away and you buy new ones. These are, I haven't gotten them out of here yet, but they look kind of like a plastic, soft plastic material. So you just take them out and wash them and reuse them. Eventually, if you use it enough and they get kind of grody, then you can buy new ones. But there's one on the back and one on each side, and you just take them out and wash them and reuse them. I just think that's just wonderful. It saves money and keeps your efficiency up and your costs down. So pretty cool so far. As far as what's in the top, I don't know if you can see this. I can tilt it a little bit. They're drink holders and what looks to be maybe cell phone holders up here. Cool. I don't know. The advertisement for this shows it as indoor or outdoor. I guess maybe they have pictures of people poolside, and maybe you got your martini or your drink or your Kool-Aid or whatever you have up here, and you can have a drink caddy as well as a evaporative air cooler. I guess pretty cool. So anyway, open this up, and what you've got is a reservoir for water. This is where you dump the water in, and they've given you 4 of these ice bottles. You just fill them up with water, put them in the freezer, and they freeze up, and then you just put them in here, and as the water pumps up, they sit in the reservoir water, cool the water down even more so than just room temperature, and then as the water cascades down and goes down the cooling fins, it's ice cold. The colder your water, colder the air that's being blown onto you, and the more efficient and the cooler the air the room is going to get, which is really, really cool. It's neat that they added that. If you don't have these, or if they're not cold yet, or if they're in the freezer, you can just dump ice in here, as I have done. When I got this thing going up and started in testing, these weren't cold yet, so I just dumped a bunch of ice in here, did the same thing. The ice melted eventually, and added to the evaporative water loss at the same time, so it was kind of a win-win. So a really, really nice thing about this unit is it has a safety feature that if the water level drops down to a certain point where that it's not healthy and it's not pulling fluid anymore, or not bringing water up, and the pump is going to run dry and hurt it and break it, it knows that, it senses that, and it shuts off the pump for you. So it's kind of foolproof, and will help, because I'm sure that's a way that a unit like this will break, is you'll just kind of forget about it, go to the grocery store or whatever, and then you'll run out of water and the thing will overheat and die. And so they've put that really nice feature in there. I think that's really cool. Very excited about that. So that's the unit. Pretty easy. It's got the caster wheels. It spins around flawlessly and effortlessly. It has 8 gallons or maybe 7 gallons of water in it right now, and it feels completely weightless. The wheels are great, and they lock if you're on a slope. That's great. So let me cut the cord on this thing, and I will show you how it works. Got a zip tie here. Plug this guy in, and it beeped. That tells me something's happening, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so all I got to do is hit the power button, and it starts out, there's a number 1 showing, meaning I'm on fan speed number 1. And here's number 2, and here's number 3. That's quite a bit of airflow, and it's really pretty quiet. I've used other units that are a lot louder than this. This is really pretty nice. I have a 3-car garage, and if this is over on this side and I'm working on that side, I'm not yelling over the thing. This is great, and it'll blow your hair. I've just turned this on here. I have a Corvair tapestry, you probably see in my other videos, hanging on the other end of the garage, and it's flapping on the wall right now. And the lights that are hanging are swinging right now. It really moves a bunch of air. You know what? I can show you right here. This is standard toilet paper, I promise. So let me show you. That's pretty good airflow. And then you can see on the sides that it's sucking it in. See how it's sticking to it? It's pulling it in from the sides and the back, and it's blowing it out the front. That's decent airflow. Even on 1, I still have a decent amount of airflow, okay? And if I'll put it back on 3, and I'm gonna put the swing on, so now it's gonna oscillate. And it's very, very slow, but it's in the middle of the cycle, but it will oscillate back and forth. And I had it off. I'm sorry, it was on to begin with. So it swings back and forth, gives you an oscillation. Really, really cool, really nice. You can turn the cooling on now. The cooling was not on. It'll now fill up. You can see the water gurgling and bubbling up. It's going to fill up, and then it's going to cascade over the cooling pads. So I think that's, and then there's a timer. You can hit the timer and you can set however much you want to have on the unit. So pretty cool. It just dropped a couple degrees in here, honestly. Just standing here in front of it, I'm already cooler than I was. It's super effective and super efficient. Now, I turned it on for about 3 hours today, and it took and kept my garage at about 71 degrees for all day. Right now, it's 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the afternoon. It would probably be about 90 degrees in here, and it's literally just a skosh over 70 degrees in here right now. I'm super comfortable. I can't believe it. I'm super impressed. I kind of played around a little bit with the physics. I closed my big overhead door, had this thing sitting over here in the corner, had my little overhead door opened up just a couple inches, and it worked great. But when I walked out here, I could feel the humidity. It's not bad, but I could definitely tell it was more humid in here. So all I did was just cracked up my second garage door a couple inches as well. And within like 5 minutes, the humidity levels dropped and it felt completely normal again. So unlike an air conditioning unit where you want to keep it sealed up, and as soon as you open up the doors, you've lost all your cooling and all the money you've spent, this thing runs at 1/10 of the power consumption of a AC unit. And you actually need to have a door or a window open at the other end of your room to have the airflow. It's kind of part of the physics and the process of it. So it just works out great. You have nice fresh air in the room all the time. It doesn't get stuffy, and it stays nice and cool. And you just got to add water and ice, and you're good to go. So man, I'm super happy. If you guys are interested in one of these, there will be a link in the description. I would definitely check this out. If you're in the market for an evaporative air cooler, check this one out and give it a serious look, because for the price point this is offered at, I think this is a winner for sure. So I think that's going to do it for this one. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and stay cool out there.